I want to say just a few words about Kyle Snyder after his match against the Russian. He had a great match again with Sajalayev, like he always does. Watched his interview, just awesome stuff. There's so much to learn from Kyle Snyder. Yesterday I was listening to Tom Ryan's podcast, or Tom Ryan's his Mental Monday that he did over at the Ohio State Regional Training Center. They do Mental Mondays now. You see him with the Wrestling Mindset shirt on. One of the things he said that was just a great point is that winning and losing can't define you. You can't be defined by your wins or your losses. It's such a powerful statement. So many people know it. I could say when I was wrestling, I did know that, but did I really know that? Was I really, really applying that? Did I really have that burnt into my mind? Without doing mindset training, it is very difficult. Without formal work on your mind, with actual mindset training, it is very difficult to really instill that in your head. There's a part of us that feels like if we win, it really does make us better. If we make a lot of money, it really does make us better. If we have more Twitter followers, it means we're a little bit better. And that's not true. It's great to shoot to be successful. It's great to work on improving yourself in wrestling and business and school and in life, but it does not define you. And look, exactly what Tom Ryan was saying, that's what Kyle Snyder really lives. He really embodies that. If you listen to his interview after his match, he sounded no different. His demeanor, his body language, and his words were pretty much no different than when he wins competitions. And what does that tell you? He said explicitly that the wins or the losses don't define him, and he really is living it. Is he hurting? I'm sure he's hurting. I'm sure he's hurting bad. He doesn't wrestle to lose. And that's the whole thing. Like we could really hate to lose, but still not attach our identity to our wins or our losses. And if you look at it, he said it. He said he's honestly not defined by his wins or his losses. He's defined by his faith in Jesus. And you could see he really believes that. Burroughs, he said something very similar after his match about it's part of God's plan. That's the most important thing. And Kyle Snyder said it again. He's just thankful for the opportunity. He's thankful for the opportunity to wrestle. Watch any of his interviews, and he always says that. That's our mindset principle number one. When we work with our teams, the first thing we have them do is get up on their feet and go through the 4 mindset principles. I'm thankful for the opportunity to wrestle. I'm aggressive and relentless. I have no fear of losing or making mistakes, and I never, ever give up. The first mindset principle, I'm thankful for the opportunity to wrestle. You have to burn that into your mind. It's easy to lose sight of it when day in and day out you're working hard, you're eating well, you're lifting, you're doing sprints, you're doing stance and motion. We lose sight of the fact that we're thankful to wrestle. You have to like the sport. If you want to be good at anything, it's not just like it, you have to love it. I honestly believe that if wrestling is not something you enjoy, you should stop doing it. Life is too short. There's just other things you could be doing with your time. My message, of course I love wrestling. I want to grow wrestling. I would rather more people wrestling. But it's one of those things that especially as you get to a higher and higher level, it just doesn't pay to do it if there's something else you love to do. We're all put here for a purpose. Every single one of us was put here for a purpose. And it would be an egregious mistake if you did not do your purpose. In other words, if you tried to do something else than what you were made to do, that would be a big-time mistake. And how do you know what you're meant to do? What are you passionate about? What do you love? What's something you could do that time just disappears and you could just keep doing it and you're having fun? There it is. Kyle Snyder right there saying he really does enjoy wrestling. And you could tell he's serious. Look at his demeanor after losing in the World Championships, getting pinned in the first period. How many of us would have threw a fit? How many of us would have still been crying? I know I would have. I did when I was in elementary school, middle school. Why wouldn't I have been in the World Championships? And again, that's what separates the best from even very good wrestlers. He genuinely is thankful for the opportunity. He really does know that wrestling doesn't define himself. They asked him, in fact, if he's happy now that he doesn't have to worry about college wrestling. And what did he say? He was never worried about college wrestling. That's one of the mindset lessons we have. Relaxing under pressure, we change the words that we're using so we can improve our thinking skills. The words we use are going to have a big-time impact on the way we think. Our words impact our thoughts impact our behaviors, and our behaviors impact our destiny. The first step in the chain is the words we use. We don't worry about anything, we focus on things. So right off the bat, simple thing you could do right now, change the words that we use. Instead of saying worry, Don't use it. Use the word focus. If you swap that word out, it does the same exact thing. So we're not worried about anything. What are we focused on? Another great word substitution. Instead of calling it a problem, instead of saying problems, nobody likes problems. Swap that word out forever too. Now call it challenges. We like to meet challenges. We don't like to deal with problems. Change the word and it's going to change the way you think about it. There's no problems, only challenges. There's no worry, there's only focus. If you want a whole series of word changes that we do with all of our athletes, same stuff we do with our college athletes, our Olympians, our UFC fighters, let us know. We'll send you that worksheet for free. For free. Word changes that we have that are going to impact the whole mentality that you have with your mindset, with sports, with school, with business, with life. Changing worries to focus, changing problems to challenges, and there's many more. So just let us know about that. We'll send it right on over to you. What else do we have with Kyle Snyder? Another great point with Kyle Snyder. In his interview, he gave 2 positives from his match. Now, if you watch the match, he got pinned very quickly. He still was able to say he said he kept his level low, and I think he said that he used his hips properly when Sadulayev was in on him. Here's my point. We always tell our athletes, make sure you look at the positives as well as the negatives. Don't just focus on the negatives. So we usually say after matches, 3 things you did well, 3 things you could improve on. Kyle Snyder was only wrestling about 30 seconds, and he was able to name 2 things he did well, technically. Doesn't seem like a big deal. It is. Most people, when they get pinned in the first period, talk to them. Ask them what they did well. They would say nothing. They're mad. They're upset. Kyle Snyder, off the top of his head, gave 2 things he did really well in the match. He actually gave 3 because he said his energy level was exactly where he wanted it to be. And he said he was happy with that. Most of us would not look at the sport like that. I can't stress it enough times. You look at wrestlers like Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Dake, David Taylor, Kyle Snyder, and when we look at them, we think that they're freak athletes. We think that they're so talented and technical, and they are. They are talented. They are technical. But listen to their interviews. Their mindset is really what sets them apart from other people. How many people, after getting pinned in 30 seconds, would be able to name 3 things they did well? And after a devastating loss in the World Championship, I would venture to say not many. I know I wouldn't. So it takes mindset training. It takes consistency. So make sure you stay with us. If you want that worksheet with the word changes that we make, our words impact our thoughts impact our behavior impacts our destiny. If you want that mindset worksheet, we'll send that to you for free. Make sure you stay with us. And remember, mindset makes the difference.